The central United States was just in the crosshairs of May in 2019 of a most incredible series of devastating superstorms, record flooding, and numbers of tornadoes. What are they in the crosshairs of? Is it nature? Is it global warming? Is it solar cycle? Or is it something else? We're going to see here extremely strong proof that it's something else. Earlier we saw that NOAA was unable to explain this elevated convection at night and postulated dark energy coming out of the Gulf, but they were unable to solve it. But we saw that when these form, a highly regular band, a coordinate graph-like regularity of nodes emerge, and from them these superstorms arise, and the top of which many times have concentric squares oriented as per the field itself. We also saw this announcement to the people.
The world of tomorrow and the instruments of science which are shaping it may seem remote and fantastic. In the world of tomorrow, weather control will enrich and safeguard our daily lives. In the foreseeable future, we will conquer more than violent storms.
We will be able to make violent storms. The Secretary of Defense in '97 said others can alter the climate, set off earthquakes, etc. through the use of electromagnetic waves. They are real, and we have to redouble our efforts to be able to do the same. So Dr. Edward Teller immediately went out and made the presentation to spray a layer of aluminum oxide in the atmosphere to reflect away sunlight, but especially to facilitate transmission of microwave and electromagnetic energy in the atmosphere, without which no practical global weather control could ever proceed. Then it was everybody on board the train, and this is what the engine is basically made of: method and apparatus for altering a region of the Earth's atmosphere, ionosphere. At least one selected region can be altered, and it all has to do with the incredible power of microwave interference fields. This I captured, I didn't realize a string of 30 would take place thereafter, but in it there's tremendous examples of interference fields, standing waves, and powerful energy wave propagation rings. So we're going to look in at this area. You see it from a distance, nothing really stands out, but when you come in, right away at the bottom you can see concentric rings right there, standing waves right on the right, and then at the upper left corner another set of energy rings comes in, waves come in, transected by a dark ring, which may be some kind of phase cancellation problem. From all those waves, there's more than just the ones we see there. Right next to it now we see another one with this great definition, evenness, inexplicable, and itself those rings are transected by a perfect frequency of bisecting lines, intersecting lines. On the left you see a standing wave pattern begin to emerge. It doesn't come from left or right or up anywhere. It just appears as a function of the interference and such caused by these rings. See, then they just appear in place, stay perfectly fixed, never change. That's impossible in nature, but eminently possible with electromagnetic interference. Just a notch above dead center you'll see another set of circular rings of full circles that also emanate outward. But real enceladus is formed by a front pushing a layer of clouds which can cause the banding, compressing fore and aft, coming directly over a mountain ridge which causes wider and wider spacing of the bands, or very calm air, extremely calm, where convection is counterbalancing the pull of gravity, resulting in these bands, but the air has to be perfectly calm to do so. Fix this in your visual memory. Those are microwave interference fields. So when we look in at the same area, we see what happens when this region becomes excited by all of these waves, which are of a highly specific frequency. This is what results, and there it is right there, and it's just the beginning that goes on then, all day and up to and past midnight. That's midnight. And those nodes are very evenly spaced. Another item that we'll have to look at another time is the drawing of air from the equator up across the United States. The main thing is that as warm air approaches or cold air approaches, cloud develops along the frontal zone because of the lifting of air. So what should happen is that as the front moves, the thunderheads form as a moving front along the line, not behind the front or away from it, going in the opposite direction of the movement of wind, but that's what we see. All right, this is a good one because they use this to explain all of the 30 days of monstrous storms. But we look at the actual temperatures and we find that these are not forming where warm air is meeting cold air, but basically we have a band of cool air, and that's mild, and then it's warm on the right. Also, they form in the dry area, and with the characteristic going against the flow, having nothing to do with temperature interaction. And there you're perfectly even nodes stretching and forming these colossal destructive storms. Yeah, this was the next day. It helps. So now this is the same phrase they use over and over since 2012, new rounds, and then they have some goofy explanation that doesn't fit for each new round. Now, as the previous nights went away, another set is developed just after sunrise. There's sunrise, and there's the earlier night's presentation. But as sun rises, it goes away. There's no extra convection. So you can still see the very even frequency element of its formation, but as it leaves the general zone of focus, it just gives out regardless of the presence of the sun. Now you see standing waves develop on the left side. They're very strange looking, and you just watch. You know, there's nothing there before, and then the interference field starts forming, and you get this bizarre structures, and especially right there's your visual memory of what microwave interference fields looks like. That's what they look like, and that's what they do. They just stay perfectly in place. They have nothing to do with movement of wind or normal cloud formation at all. They're ionizing the air and causing it to become water droplets. In addition, this one is in the dry air the entire period, not the moist air. Now this is great because we do see one that forms in one place, and it starts about noon, in other words, the blossoming, and then it goes on for 12 hours in one place. Even though the air is everywhere else is moving, that stays right there for 12 hours. See the equilateral triangle right there. Right, worthy of attention. Nature doesn't do anything like this. Only a standing wave field brought to a proper focus. Again, that was sunrise. It's still heated, but as the sun comes up, the heat goes away while that forms and stays in place for 12 hours with all the power rings and such that we saw. All right, so likewise, that does the exact same thing as its sister from the night before, and as sun comes up, it too goes away. No more convections for you. As the sun hits the highest points, you can see again the even frequency. But here it already is developing interference fields with concentric energy rings, and quite a few going through, producing this effects. Over there you see again the standing waves suddenly are there, and it's extremely consistent. So on it went for a month with, I think, 2 days off. Another still frame just to show you. NOAA's highly dubious claim that galactic dark energy coming out of the Gulf provides the energy sufficient to create these at night must be further understood that it's saying in reverse that they only take place here and no other place in the world, leaving us only one model that can actually explain what's going on.
Thank you, Senator. The Air Force has gotten great value out of HAARP in the past. We took over from the Navy and managed it and actually did a number of experiment campaigns up there, and have finished our work that we're interested in doing up there. We've moving on to other ways of managing the ionosphere, which the HAARP was really designed to do, was to inject energy into the ionosphere to be able to actually control it.